Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 NFL Draft Edition. Uh, we were in for a big night with round one, and we could have some trades, and the Browns do have at least uh, picks in every round, minus the fifth round. They do not have them, and I am glad to have my friend Mitchell Weiner here to join me. And usually I'm at my friend Matt Murphy's house, but he's going to do it because he's in Florida visiting his brother, Pat, and we're going to talk about the NFL draft all night. I'll give you the picks as they come in, and we'll get to all that. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Draft Trivia question. Which quarterback from Louisiana Tech was taken first overall in the 1970 draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers? And I will have that answer later in the podcast in this first segment. Well, 2025 NFL Draft has finally arrived, Mitch, and there are so many college football players who are hoping to hear their name called and go off the board either tonight, tomorrow, or Saturday. And it's hard to say who will be selected and go off the board in round one, but we will find out in just a few moments. In about 5 minutes when the draft gets underway. It'll probably in 30 minutes, about 8:30. That's when we get underway, and when the draft opens and fully will get underway, as I just said, and there has been no football since February, and there has been a lot of rumors this offseason. As At this point, the off-season rumors have finally simmered down, and draft pick predictions are coming together. Now, the odds against Flacco having another magical five-game comeback player of the year streak like he did with the Browns in 2023 is probably highly unlikely. The Browns were 4-1 in Flacco's five starts. He fired 13 TD passes and averaged 321 yards passing per game. He also threw 7 interceptions, and the turnovers are a part of Flacco's game. But Flacco back to Cleveland as a visible option at quarterback. Flacco being able to win some games gives stability at the position, and all of those and more are good reasons to sign Flacco, who agreed to a one-year deal with a base salary of $4 million. And I don't care that he's 40 years old, but I thought he'd be retired by now. But that's not the case. This was a wise short-term move by GM Andrew Berry, and he's going to be on that phone a lot tonight. And the person with us says, "I'll take Kenny Pickett and Flacco as the veteran quarterbacks in Coach Kevin Stefanski's offense." But Kenny Pickett, he hasn't had that many starts, and between Flacco and Pickett, Mitch, they're going to be competing along with a rookie quarterback for that starting position. But it's hard to say if the Browns are going to take a rookie quarterback in this draft tonight because they've been leaning towards taking wide receiver Travis Hunter with the number 2 pick. But as we found out just a few moments ago from my friend Keith, there could be a possible trade. Now, what are your thoughts on this? What goes through your mind?
I mean, they could take Travis Hunter too. That is a possibility, but there's still some good quarterbacks that'll be available in the second and third rounds. You don't need to take a quarterback right at the top of the first round.
No.
There are still other quarterbacks who are available that they can still get. 'Cause I do believe they do need to get a quarterback in this draft. That they can't just rely on picking Flacco because they're short term people to get us over the hump until Deshaun Watson comes back or they get somebody else.
And I highly agree with that. I think they're going to be parting ways with Watson eventually, and he's going to miss most of the season, Watson. And I mean, because these guys are going to be competing for that starting quarterback spot. But if Kenny Pickett wants it, he's going to have to prove it. because he didn't get many starts with the Steelers, and he got very few starts with the Eagles. Very few starts. And but we'll take Flacco signing as another. No, actually, we'll take the dynamic Travis Hunter, as I said, with the number 2 pick in the draft. But there could be a trade, as I mentioned, but put mostly at wide receiver in the draft, but pump some life into and I'm about to join me is my friend Keith Norman. Yes, yes. Okay, okay, you heard it here, folks. The Browns are going to stay put and not trade down. And at number 2, they're not going to trade. They're going to stay there. And I think it will too. And I agree with that. All right, thank you, Keith. We'll hear from you later. Bye-bye. Well, you heard it from my friend Keith Norman, KIL Keith in Lakewood, who you can hear as a regular calling guest on the Big Show with Tony Rizzo on Wednesdays on AMA on Sports Radio, AMA 50 WKNR. Now, getting back to what I was saying, and we'll take the dynamic Travis Hunter with the number 2 pick, as I mentioned in the draft, but mostly at wide receiver, pump some life into an offense that had ranked last in the NFL in scoring last season, and they only scored 15 points, 0.2 points a game per game, and you got to score more than that, and you just got to have players that are going to produce. And I think you're going to agree. I think it's good we're staying put at number 2 and not trading down. So I think they will take Travis Hunter.
Unless they can get something for the number 2 pick that's worth it, it's not worth it to trade down. You gotta be able to get something in good compensation for the pick. You can't give it
Yeah,
up for nothing. You got to get something in return.
yeah. And this draft is definitely live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we're going to get back to talking this in a minute. But right now, it is time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Draft Trivia question. Which quarterback from Louisiana Tech was taken first overall in the 1970 draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers? Mitch, you want to take a crack at it before I reveal?
Terry Bradshaw.
That's exactly who it is. It was Terry Bradshaw, who just recently retired from Fox Sports, and he was on NFL Football Sunday, and we will miss seeing him on that. Bradshaw spent his entire career wearing the number 12 with the Steelers for 14 seasons. He led the Steelers to 4 Super Bowl wins through 11 yards, shy of a career 28,000 yards, then retired in 1983. He later became a sports analyst. He was on CBS for a while, and then we all knew him from NFL football, Fox NFL Sunday on Fox. And I'll have another question, a trivia question tomorrow when I podcast round 2 of the NFL draft. Tomorrow night at 7, rounds 2 and 3. And so stay tuned for that. Now we're going to talk about what went wrong this past season. And the Browns made too many errors in the last few years when trying to change the offense to accommodate Deshaun Watson, but none of it worked. And before the 2024 season, several assistant coaches were fired, and a successful zone blocking system was junked, and so was Stefanski's play-action offense, which worked very well here for most QBs not named Deshaun Watson. Now, the Browns will never admit it, but one of the reasons they didn't bring back Flacco in 2024 was Watson. The Browns knew fans would start chanting for Flacco when Watson struggled. They also knew the media would be a loud voice in that chorus, and that went right along with Jameis Winston instead. They went with Jameis, but he didn't do any better. I mean, And the Browns knew what would happen, and Watson was injured again, and the offensive lineman admitted they missed the Bill Callahan zone blocking scheme. The pass happy play calling former offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey was a disaster, and I highly agree with that because it did not work. And Mitch, they made too many errors, and Watson getting injured. I mean that just said it all right there.
Well, I mean, I think he got injured also partially because their offensive line was hurt and they didn't have a good. They need more offensive linemen to protect the quarterback to give him time to make plays.
Yeah, and our offense that ranked 10th in scoring in 2023 was 32nd in 2024, and the result, as you know, was a 3-14 record. And they've done a lot of soul searching. And with this upcoming season, Barry knows his job is on the hot seat, and Stefanski knows his job is on the hot seat right now.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And so they gotta get it right. And I appreciate, and Terry Pluto wrote this as I'm reading this, and he says, I appreciate Browns owner Jimmy Haslam making his big swing and a missed comment about Watson. Regardless of who pushed for the Watson deal, the ultimate decision was made by ownership, but his comment freed the organization to move past and how do we fix the Watson stage? Now they brought in Mike Bloomgren, a former Royce head coach, who was an assistant under Callahan. Now this line coach is bringing back the zone and blocking schemes, and the plan is to have Flacco and Pickett battle for the starting spot. Besides a rookie quarterback battling for it too, upon what rookie quarterback the Browns should take, and a lot of people are saying, and media have said this, that Cam Ward could be the first one to go off the board in round one. And that very well could be.
Very well could be. I heard Tennessee.
Yeah. Because we are about to get underway very shortly, in about 24 minutes. I think the NFL job is about to open. We're getting some words from Roger Goodell right now, the NFL commissioner, and that they will be drafted. And he also could be part of the equation. And by adding Pickett and Flacco, the Browns want to put a decent product on the field. Convincing Myles Garrett to sign an extension is another victory for the front office as well. Because that was good. We got him back, but they do want to find a good counterpart for him. There could be an unexpected trade that might happen. They could trade for Kansas City defensive end George Karlaftis. And if that happens within this draft, that might be a good counterpart for Myles Garrett, but we'll see on that. And I don't know if you agree with that, Mitch, or
I do agree with that.
Yeah, because
they need to put somebody opposite Myles Garrett, otherwise Myles Garrett's going to keep getting.
Yeah, because they still got Elijah Moore, still got Jerry Jeudy, but they've got a little work to do to improve. But I mean, they made some decent plays last season, but didn't make very many.
Well, they do need some receivers, but I think they also
Yeah.
they need some offensive linemen. Otherwise, quarterback's not going to have time to make any plays.
Yeah.
They're not going to have any offense.
And running back Nick Chubb, he's still without a job, without a team and job. And I don't know if the Browns are going to get him back. They might, or
if they're going to draft a running back, or what they're going to do.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. And none of this ensures a spot in the playoffs, but I believe they are back on the proper road to giving the fans something worth watching. As basically, and I think you agree with this, Mitch, that the Watson era has basically come to an end. Because I think eventually they're going to part ways with him, even though right now they can't get out of his contract. But I think they're going to part ways with him eventually.
That would make sense, yes.
And the Browns have picks in every round except in the 5th round. And the Browns entered this offseason with 9 total picks for the 2025 NFL Draft. And now with the new league year officially beginning, the announcement of compensatory. Yeah, and picks and the official round-by-round order. The Browns have a total of 10 picks in the draft. And so we're going to take a break. I'm going to be right back. And we'll continue with more of this NFL draft special on Scott Sports 101. Stay with us. More coming up.